This podcast is hosted by the Center for the Futures of Native Peoples at Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, USA, which is about a mile from the former grounds of the Carlisle Indian Industrial School. We are working to bring honest interpretations of the Carlisle Indian School that was in operation from 1879 until 1918. We honor the 7,800 Indigenous students from across the United States who came to Carlisle. The Indian School is a significant place of remembrance for our Native peoples. Because of the endurance, strength, and prayers from our people who went to the Carlisle Indian School, many of us are here today. Guwati relatives, it's yours truly, Dr. Kautui or Dr. Sapoon, also known as Mandy Cheromiah. I have two special relatives today. Say what's up.
What's up?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm an exchange student from Germany. Been here since August. I'm flying back next week, which sucks. And I'm part of the CFNP Advisory Fellowship Board for the students.
Hi, I'm Kanoa. I'm a senior at Dickinson College, so I'm graduating in been under a week here. I'm also one of the fellows, and I'm Kanaka Maoli. I'm not sure if that's relevant, but
It is relevant. Yes, these two student leaders are part of our inaugural student advisory fellowship board, and they have been an important part of helping us further our mission to really amplify Indigenous narratives, to share with community what the Indigenous histories are and living histories of this place. And they are two all-star leaders, and I just love them and wanted to bring them on here to really hear their story because we've connected in so many ways over the last, since what, October? October? September, October, somewhere around there. So Alex, I want to ask you a little bit more. So you're from Germany. How did you end up here in Carlisle, Pennsylvania?
By pure random chance. So my university, I study English-speaking cultures in Bremen in German, and my university makes it mandatory for everyone to have an exchange year. I would have done it anyway, but it was mandatory. And we have a cooperation with Dickinson, so I applied just because I needed a lot of places to apply to. I actually didn't get the position though, and then someone jumped off like 2 months before the program was supposed to start, and then I was like, okay, am I taking this or not? I had like a 12-hour breakdown, called my sister in the evening, and she said, you're going to the US. And that's how I got here. Apparently, I was the only exchange student, or like the exchange students with the fastest visa process. I got it in under a month.
Okay, how long does it usually take?
It depends on your documentation. It can take like 2 months, 3 months, can take longer, but I was just very anxious, so I did a lot of stuff very fast.
Okay. So you're heading back within the next week or so?
Yeah, in exactly 1 week.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
It sucks.
Oh,
I don't want to leave. It's maybe not specifically Carlisle, but I've made a lot of great friends and met a lot of great people, and yeah, feels a little it does not feel great to go back right now.
oh.
I miss my friends back home.
Mm-hmm.
If they are listening to this, I love you. Just, but they know. I've told them. I'm like, I miss you, but also,
I miss you, but I don't.
So, Alex, did you know Kanoa before this school year started?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
We met at the first advisory board meeting. You were the only person who was there. Like, you were the first person to be there, except
I
for
was
Paul.
very early.
Yes. And I came and was like, what? Who's earlier than me?
Me, the Hawaiian, which is like antithesis to Hawaiian.
Oh, so it truly is through the work of our center and the labor of love that we all have embarked in, where you both became friends.
Yep,
Aw.
absolutely.
That's awesome. So, Kanoa, how did you get to Carlisle, Pennsylvania? Why are you here?
Okay, so my story is, I think, both more and less complicated than Alex's. So I'm an American. So for college, I knew I wanted to study history, which is what I'm graduating with a degree in. So I'm originally from the West Coast. I'm from California, so the West Coast doesn't have great history programs, so I knew I wanted to go to the East Coast somewhere. I knew I wanted a small college, which now things are relatively small college. Wasn't gonna go like one of the schools where every single class is 100 something people. I just didn't think it would work. So that ended up narrowing thing, and then I knew I wanted to go abroad because my abroad experience was canceled due to kind of COVID. Essentially, it got really messy, so it was essentially canceled. So I still wanted to go abroad, so saw Dickinson had a really good abroad program. My high school advisor recommended it, and I got in, and they gave me money, which is kind of important. So, I ended up in Dickinson essentially by ticked the right boxes, and then I'm not paying nearly as much. I don't have as much debt as I would at the other two universities I was accepted into.
Ah, okay. So can you describe what it's like to embark on this new journey? You're graduating in a few days. How are you thinking about this? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm terrified. um, it's yeah. I mean, my kind of issue is I don't know exactly what I want to do with my degree. So, like grad school isn't really an option for me at the moment. Probably in the future at some point, and then just beyond that, it's all sorts of stuff that I'd rather not talk about in a podcast that's meant to be feel good. So,
You can share whatever you want, Kanoa.
just issues with job market and limitations I have in terms of my options being fresh out of college are essentially live with my parents and try to get a local job, get an online job, which I don't even know how that would like I know that application process is going to be really annoying, or take a massive gamble and try to find a house somewhere else near a good job, and I just don't think that last option's very plausible. Technically, I could apply for a work visa in Japan, but I have student debt, and exchange rate is a thing, and I'd still have to pay the debt, and it would not be good. So, yeah, no, I'm kinda hamstringed for options right off the bat, and then, yeah, it's just kinda difficult choices, which
Aw.
I'd rather not make, but I kind of have to.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing, Kanoa. And I hope that, you realize just what a leader you are and all the different skill sets you have. And so we're cheering for you, we're rooting you on. And so we look forward to see how all of this unfolds for you and Alex too as you go back to Germany. So as we sit here today, the semester is closing up. I submitted grades today for the first time. I taught a class called Indigenous Storytelling, which Alex was a part of. So, Alex, what was it like to take that class? Indigenous Storytelling, Digital Media, and Beyond.
It was amazing. I think most of us had no idea what it was gonna be. But we had a lot of fun, and we contributed a lot to the center, and that felt like really nice because we learned stuff without having to worry about what grade we're gonna get, because you just right off the bat said if you put some thought behind it, you're gonna get 100. And I think like a bunch of people in class were genuinely looking at each other like, "Excuse me, what? What do you
Yeah,
mean?"
that is a very unusual thing in
Yeah,
and to just get the if you submit it, it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not how it
Yeah.
works.
That's what like people actually ended up putting a lot of thought into the assignments though because of that. That was really really cool to see. It was a very emotional experience in all kinds of ways, and I feel like all of us left that class with a bunch of skill sets that we didn't know we had. It was really cool.
Aw. I really appreciate that feedback. My teaching philosophy is that I really care about the learners I engage with, and I really care that their confidence is built. So when I go into these learning spaces, I tell the students, I was like, I hope if there's one thing that you remember out of our entire class and anything that I share with you, I hope that you know that you were loved. And I share with them, these assignments, are here. They're designed to help you teach the technical skills of storytelling, like doing a podcast, creating a digital story, doing basic qualitative research. And so doing and integrating these different skills in light of helping them understand who they are as storytellers is really a powerful experience to me. So I'm so glad, Alex, that you gained a lot out of the class. And from the course feedback, I'm pretty sure that the other students reflect the similar sentiments that you just have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and Kanoa, I'm curious to know. So, you've taken many classes here, and you've taken a few Indigenous study focused classes, right?
Yeah, a couple. Mostly, funnily enough, this year, because beforehand they weren't. I mean, Professor Lowenfeld offered them, but they were outside of what I needed in terms of requirements. So I didn't really have a lot of chances to take them, unfortunately. Which,
Mm.
looking back, I wish I had, but
Mm. Yeah. Well, I'm curious to know, Kanoa, as a native Hawaiian person, how do you conceptualize this place? How do you process Carlisle, Pennsylvania, in light of being a Dickinson College student?
I mean, I think for me, I think it's very different from Native American, Indigenous, Native Alaskan people because Hawaiians weren't sent to like the Carlisle Indian School because we were only part of the Union in the very later years, and that was slightly illegal. Which, funnily enough, one president was aware of and declined it, and that is a whole fun story. Way more respect for him than I ever thought I'd have in my life. But generally, being in Carlisle, especially coming from California and Hawaiian background, has just been very strange, I think is the best way to put it. Like, I don't get, like, what you get, Mandy, with, like, people, like, walking up and, like, asking questions and all that
Touching
stuff.
my hat.
Yeah, no, I don't wear a hat, so that's not an option.
They don't touch your glasses. Just kidding. Just kidding.
um, yeah, like, so I don't, well, technically 3 years I've been here, I haven't gotten any of that. So I think for me, it is a very, very different experience, and I learned properly about the Kiowa Indian School my sophomore year while I was taking my historical methodology course, and that was what we were focusing on, and that for me kind of did shift how I was perceiving things. And then being with the CFNP this year has been another rather monumental shift in how I look at Carlisle. Because before I know, it's kind of like, okay, it's another small town, it's whatever. And now it's a little bit more like, okay, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens here. I'm gonna stay in my room. I'm not leaving.
Can you tell us a little bit more, Kanoa, about what it was like to be a CFNP advisory fellow? As a student advisory fellow, you really helped, and the other students really helped provide feedback on what kind of programming we should do, what kind of promotional material we should have. What was it like to be a fellow this year?
I mean, I had fun. Uh,
Awesome. That's the point. That's
yeah.
right.
Um, I mean, I had fun. It's just kind of the way I think. I don't actually think I did that much. I've been told I've done way more, but I don't know.
You have.
Um, I think in general, it's been fun and eye-opening, and it's I think just been nice to have a place to go that isn't very clinical. I think it feels weird to describe kind of a college campus as clinical, but like before and after, like being able to go to grandma's house in the center, it's been just very different. Just everything outside of the center feels much more sterile and not necessarily hostile, but I can't think of the right word. It's not hostile, but it's not like kind. Uh,
Mm.
Bland isn't the word, but also like just being a part of the board and being able to kind of try and help and do something. I think for me personally has been very helpful in figuring out exactly what my identity is and who I am, and I'm still confused. But I'll figure it out eventually, hopefully.
You will. I believe in you. Oh, I think it's important to emphasize, like, and just a reminder for those who don't remember or don't recall that Grandma's house is what we call the Center for the Futures of Native Peoples. And so, Alex, I'm really curious to know from you what it's like as a non-Indigenous person to navigate Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I think the privilege that I have allows me to not really have to navigate it at all. Like I could have just existed here without knowing any of that, of any of what was happening a mile down the road. I think I think I was just curious, and that's how I ended up with all of this, and I'm very glad that that happened. And it kind of showed me that there's not a lot of people who are curious enough to find out things like this. And so what I was trying to do this year was just talking to people about it. I felt like I was just walking around and being like, "Hey, have you heard of Grandma's house? Come around." Stuff like that. So it's I think there's a lot of people who have done the same program that I am doing right now, and they had amazing and beautiful experiences here. And I'm kind of, not to discredit those experiences at all, but I'm kind of glad that I have a more nuanced perspective of Carlisle, which is, I don't know, I prefer nuanced perspectives over a picture that seems perfect, you know? So
Mm,
that's what it's been like for me.
I see. So is how is Germany different than Carlisle, Pennsylvania, or your community in Germany? I'm just so curious to know. As an international, yeah, as
2 hours, three.
I mean, I've never been there, but I am really curious to know though, like how is it different or maybe similar,
Just in general,
just in general.
it's not as humid.
Nice.
Jesus Christ, the humidity here is killing me. It's like this morning I was writing thank you cards and the thank you cards were freaking soft because of the humidity. I was like, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Pennsylvania is different and sometimes very similar. There's a few things where I'm like, yeah, I see how Germans colonized this place. Um, and then in others, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more American. I don't know. Dickinson always feels a little bit different from everything else because it's like the buildings are so old and stuff.
It's also a bubble.
Yeah, it's
Culturally.
it's absolutely a bubble. It's depending on where you go, like Dickinson is a very international bubble, and then you go somewhere else in this town and it does not feel like that at all anymore. I think my whole experience in general here is there's a cultural difference between how you engage with people here and in Germany. So, like a system like your class, I know we've mentioned that it's in general just very different from what others have done, but I've taken other classes here too, and people are like, they have a connection with the students. They have at least some form of like emotions that they show. And I don't want to sound cruel, but that's not really something that happens in Germany. Most university professors that you have are very, what you mentioned, it's very sterile. It's very cold. And depending on what university you go to, you have a bunch of people who you will never see again. It's kind of the unfun fact, I guess, about going to university in Germany is you can go there and have the goal to not talk to anyone and not make any friends, and you can do that for 3 years. And that's just not possible here. Like you run into people and people will talk to you. And
Yes.
that was the difference, the biggest difference.
Well, both of you, I mean, much love and kudos to both of you. You have been an integral part in helping to build our family at Grandma's house, really. Like it brings me so much joy and I look forward to when I go to Grandma's house and I know you both will be there at some point in the day. And what is so cool to me is that you bring others along with you. I think that is so fun. Like shout out to Trini who's
Yay,
appeared yeah in these last like this semester really and just come and been a part of just hanging out and studying and having fun. But both of you have really contributed to helping to build community at our place and our center. So I just want to give both of you much kudos and much love.
Kudos back to you.
Silence. They say nothing. Just
I
kidding.
don't know how to respond to that.
Thank you. Love you.
Yes, we just love you. Just kidding. Another question I have for both of you is, with through our center, we teach a lot about Indigenous ways of knowing and being, which essentially is different methodologies, different pedagogies about how our native people here in the United States perspective, just understand more perspective of life. Everything from understanding the seasons to directions to storytelling to religious practices to customs. So we really share a lot and have opportunity to share stories about these different topics and different ways of life and living. So I'm curious to know, what is your advice for your peers here at Dickinson and beyond to learn more about our Indigenous peoples and living histories? What advice do you have?
I mean, not everybody is going to have access. That sounds like a really bad way to say it, but I can't think of anything else to say now. Like, not everybody's going to be able to have contact with an Indigenous person or somebody who's very familiar with that kind of way of thinking and cultures in terms of a genuine thing, because you can talk to so many people who think they know, and it's just very stereotyped, to say the least. And I think when you do have contact, the best thing is to just keep as open a mind as you can. And like, there's stuff that's, even from my perspective, there's stuff that I don't quite understand. There's stuff that makes me feel kind of weird, and I don't know. I don't know how to kind of explain that. I think the more you kind of just let it ruminate and interact with it, the more things kind of start to click a little bit more. And like, yeah, it can be kind of scary, but I think the experience is well worth it, if anything, even if like you don't agree with the ways of thinking or whatever, which is fine. It's best to at least try to understand where that comes from, I think.
Yeah, I think the the number one thing for people who are not native that I have learned this year is just to show up and to listen. Like it's not actually that complicated as a lot of people make it out to be. It's just show up, maybe ask if you can help with something, and listen. And just be curious, because there's a lot you can be curious about by just listening. Like you don't have to be invasive with questions or anything. You don't have to worry about whether you are invasive with questions. Just show up and listen, and you're gonna learn way more than you think. And it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be very emotional, and it's gonna show you a lot of things that you may not have thought about before. But yeah, just show up and listen.
Hmm. That's very powerful. I agree with both of your sentiments, and I want to share a story like how this, has played out in our center and in the gathering spaces that we have. So recently in April, I was part of the Jim Thorpe's sports days at the Carlisle Barracks, and our center was hosting several people from out of town who came to Carlisle to be a part of the different festivities and community building activities. And towards the evening, after we had a day full of events, we invited the different people to Grandma's house, and we had food and just drinks and just time of just great joy and laughter. And I had text our advisory board. I was like, "Hey, come over. We got food, and bring your friends because we have a lot of food." And so it was great because Kanoa came, Alex came, and a bunch of other students came, and they brought their friends, and they brought their friends and their partners and their loved ones. So it was so fun because we were there just hanging out, and there was just this intergenerational love that you could feel, right? Because there were elders there, and there was our college students, and everywhere in between. And so by the end, like, I was exhausted. Like, I had, my traditional native clothes on, my moccasins on. And by that point, it had already been 8+ hours that, we were doing things throughout the day. And so we were cleaning up, and it's amazing to me because always, like, Alex and Kanoa, you're always there to set up, to break down, and you were there. And I remember I have a fond memory where there was cheese platters, right? And so we have these small little refrigerators. And I just remember looking over, they had these little Ziploc bags, and like one by one, they were putting these little cheese cubes in the Ziploc bags.
Hey, it worked.
It did. It so did. And
Bit of the fridge. Everything's fine.
they were playing Tetris with the fridge.
Yeah.
It was so small.
That was mostly Trini, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I just remember, like, I asked them, I was like, do you mind if I go? And they looked at me. They're like, you're the boss. And I was like, well, I was like, I feel bad leaving, right? I'm exhausted. But they knew that they just jumped in and helped. And that helped me so much. Like, I don't know. That's such a fond memory I have. And there's more too, right? Because our center, we have me and we have Holly Coombs, who is amazing.
Hey, Holly.
Yeah, we just love you so much, Holly. And so she works part-time and we have a postdoc. So very, very small team, very small team. And so it's just amazing. The advisory board, you two and other advisory fellows just stepped up and helped. And that was so, so amazing. And I just can't express enough gratitude. And that extends to like when we had the symposium, there was about 260 relatives here who both of you got to engage with in different capacities. What was it like for both of you to be a part of the symposium and to help and just meet and greet the relatives that came here?
Well, that was a time.
I mean, you were there a lot longer than I was.
Yeah.
Other afternoons, you were there a whole day.
I literally skipped classes.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that part of the story.
You're not supposed to say that part out loud.
No, it's all
It
good.
stays in the brain.
There was only one class.
Oh, okay.
It's only one class. Well, technically, no, never mind. Well, it felt like its own little environment for like 3 days, and that was really cool. And I feel like I do think that was like the best few days that I have had this whole year. Second being the advisory board meeting we had in November, and it was just an amazing weekend. It was a very chaotic weekend, and we had a lot of fun. We both definitely learned a few things about organizing. It was just really cool, and it was really cool to take up that space. I don't know, that felt really nice to have a bunch of people walk by and just be like, "Hey, do you know what's happening in the help room right now? Do you want to learn about it? Cool, come in."
Yeah, no, we got a few people who are like, is it okay to like just walk in? And we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
make a name tag, go in.
Yeah.
You don't even have to make the name tag, just go in, you're fine.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And yeah, no, I agree with what Alex said. It was busy for sure. We had a couple moments of downtime where we just sat down. We were like, "What is happening?" But
Aw.
yeah, no, running around and helping with a lot of the tech stuff and a lot of the behind the scenes, making sure things are ready for transitions and all that stuff. And then from my perspective, again, Hawaiian, like I essentially half grew up in the islands. It was weird. So a lot of when I was really young, I'd go over there, and then my cousins would come over to my house and all that sort of stuff. Actually, at the end of the month, my cousin's graduating high school, so I'm going back. Yay.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really happy. And for me, it was kind of weird because everything was very familiar, but it was also very foreign, and I didn't really know what to do a lot of the times. But the like community and just the instant kind of like, we're all relatives, we're all family was very much something I'm kind of used to. So being able to see people, I'm like, okay, I can kind of just exist here and everything's fine was really nice.
Hmm.
And it was, I think, kind of a mental break for me, not having to worry about a lot of stuff and just being able to kind of be there. But also, like I said, for me, it was also kind of foreign because there's so many different cultures and subcultures and like, yeah, the general aspects I was familiar with, but in terms of like, is this okay? Or like, how am I supposed to approach this with certain people? Like, what's okay to say and all that stuff. It was much more, I have no idea what's going on and I'm just gonna kind of follow and see what happens.
I love that, Kanoa.
It was like, when I came back from, what was it? I think it was on Friday. Was it on Friday? I came in to help, and you guys were taking photos. And the first thing that happened is I walked in, and then I saw Alex wave me down, so I came over, and I was just pushed into the group of all of the male relatives
That one.
for
Yeah.
that photo.
Oh,
And
yes.
I had no idea what that was about. I had no idea what it was for. I was just like, okay, we're doing it.
Yes, I remember. Okay, yeah, because
I was just told to wave you down.
so what happened was outside we did this impromptu photo shoot really. I had my camera, and I was just invited people to just jump in and get some nice photos. And there was this one idea that I had, and it was all impromptu again, but to take a photograph of the Indigenous men who were at our gathering. And that's where Alex waved you down from, I don't know, across the room probably.
It took me a while to piece that one together.
Yeah, brought you out. That is one of my favorite photographs though. I think it's so powerful. And yeah, it was see, I think like just hearing both of your stories, it just shows the leadership that you have, the leadership skills that you have. Like Alex, you were our like unofficial official IT and seriously like helped us navigate. And then Kanoa, you were helping with the raffle. You were like yelling out, numbers to give like the gifts out to people. It was just so much fun. Like, and I know that when I was in spaces with both of you, I knew that everything was gonna be okay. Because if I ever needed help, I knew that I could trust and lean on both of you to help in that way. So you really both have just exemplified what it means to be a leader and to come into these spaces and really just give freely. And I just admire that about both of you. And so I hope that, this it sounds like this experience was very meaningful to you. And I'm so glad that it just showed you more about who you are and who we are in this place called Carlisle, Pennsylvania. But I just want to ask you if there is anything else you'd like to share before we close.
We love Grandma's house.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for making a space like that. Thank you for allowing us to be in that space for this year. Thank you for giving us the keys.
Yeah, you have
Yes.
Not for long.
I
I'm gonna have to return those soon.
Yeah, I have to return them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for all your work and aside of this, because this is I'll tell a little story. So my first 2 years here, so my freshman and sophomore years, there was no center. So my junior year, I was abroad. I heard essentially nothing from the campus. I was kind of head down, locked in Japan. I had no idea what was happening there, and I came back fully expecting my senior year to be chaotic and very much like not exactly having a place to kind of just hang out for a bit, de-stress, and then get back to everything. And I have to give a shout out to Professor Emily Pauly because I took one of her classes, and I think we'd only talked a couple times beforehand, and she told me about the Center for Future of Native Peoples, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." I was like, "Yeah, no, I'll make sure to swing by." And before I even got the chance to swing by, she told me that applications for the advisory board were open. So I threw one in literally last minute. I think it was day of due or day after. It was one of the two. I don't remember. And I guess something happened. I showed up, and all of a sudden it went from I don't really know where I am to like there is there's a place here. There's somewhere I can hang out, and there's people who I guess are at least interested in similar values and lifestyles. And, learning that there were actually Native American students on campus, which I had no idea about. And even if I don't really talk to them all that much still, it was still just like a cool moment of, hey, I'm not alone here. Because the only other, I guess, Indigenous Native student contact, or faculty contact for that matter, I had beforehand was via rumors and grapevine. So, like, I finally got a chance to meet people from not my exact background, but people who had similar upbringings and all that kind of things. And I really want to thank you and Professor Lonefight for making that happen
Mhm.
because, it was I am not forgetting this experience ever. um, which I think is probably the best way I can say is that this, I think, is in my senior year, probably second only to my thesis because I needed that to graduate. The most important thing, I think, for my senior year. So thank you so much.
Oh, Kanoa, that is so sweet. I didn't know this story. Trying to hold back the tears. Oh, I am so proud of both of you. I just highly esteem you, and you both are so wonderful and all stars, really, and being a part of and helping to build community. And my hope and my prayer for both of you is that you just always remember how much you are loved and how you are powerful storytellers, and we will always, well, I'll be here for a few more years, but if you come back, I may be here.
We'll hope so.
Yeah. And and I've shared this in many spaces that, it's still very hard for me to live here, honestly. Like I've been here a year. May 13th marks the year that I've moved here, actually, and that was just a couple days ago from this time of recording. And I don't like living here, but I love the people here. And you two are part of those people that I love. Truly, the students, your peers, both of you have sustained me here, truly. And this is why I will be here to help continue with this work and help continue to advance, right, the futures of our Native peoples and beyond. So I just love both of you. I don't want to cry. But I thought it'd just be so special to capture your stories before both of you venture out into new, exciting adventures that are going to come your way. More silence. Just kidding.
That was like a second.
I'm going to edit that out. No, just kidding.
None of this is getting.
I don't know
none
if
of
they know how to receive my love, actually. Just kidding. I don't even care, but I'm so thankful to share story and share time and space with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Again, it has been an awesome year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aw.
That's an understatement.
And now we pass all of this responsibility off to one person.
Trini. I love that. Trini's like, what, a freshman right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
There'll be more people. More people will show up.
There will.
Yeah.
There will. Relatives listening, I thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the work that we're doing, supporting the storytelling work that we're doing. We just love you so much. And I say, Dawa, I thank you so much, relatives, Alex and Kanoa. Oh my goodness. So we will stamp this story time, and so you can always refer back to it no matter where you're at. I just say I love both of you. I love our students. Thank you so much for being here. And I say, Hashime Gume Doa. Thank you so much. Keep the strength, keep the courage, and we'll talk to you next time. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to learn more about the Carlisle Indian Industrial School, visit the Carlisle Indian School Digital Resource Center at carlisleindian.dickinson.edu. Many thanks to Brenda Landis for teaching me the technical process of producing a podcast. Learn more about the Center for the Futures of Native Peoples at dickinson.edu/CFNP. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and X at CFNP Dickinson. Authenticity is important. You can learn more about me at amandacheromiah.com. And you spell my last name Cheromia. You can also connect with me at Dr. Cheromiah on TikTok, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. You can also email me at cheromia@dickinson.edu. I honor my 6 relatives that I know of so far who came to the Carlisle Indian School. Because of them, I am here. And in the words of Chief Philip Whiteman Jr. from Northern Cheyenne and a descendant from the Carlisle Indian Industrial School, he says, I love you and there is nothing you can do about it. Hashtamegume, do I thank you so much for listening, relatives. Until next time.